Welcome into another edition of Hit That Line, presented by Home Field Apparel. I'm your host, Zach Berry. Joining me, as always, Austin Gray, Nicholas Carr, and Mr. Ben Woodhouse. Boys, we're back from the bye week. We may not have recorded last week, but the iron is still hot. The group is now 53-31 against the spread heading into Week 8. How is everyone doing this evening?
Very good. Ready to get a win.
Yep. That's an absurd against the spread record, by the way.
It truly is.
Good. I'm super concerned the regression monster is coming, but that's a crazy stat.
Yeah. For what
we could go 0-12 this week, it'd still be above 500.
Yeah, if you were dumb enough to tell us it's time to reduce your bet size or start to be more selective because we are due for an absolute disaster every week.
Well, we have been very efficient this year. We have avoided the bad week. I have an 0-3 week. That was in, I believe, week 1. Then Nick had one in week 5. Austin had one in week 6. Ben is the only one that has avoided it. But we've spaced them out to where it hasn't all hit us at once. But yes, last week, looking at the standings, Austin is 13-8. Ben and I are 14-7. Nick is 12-9. I mean, we are just red hot. The only thing hotter than us might be the Rangers, or the Voldemort. I'm not going to say it.
Don't say them.
But we're here for Week 8. I don't know about you guys. I was listening to a lot of national shows. People were kind of, groveling a little bit and saying that this slate wasn't that fun or wasn't that enticing. But I do think there is some money to be had out there. But first, let's get into Ole Miss and Auburn. 6 o'clock ESPN. I don't know. I will be at my parents', so the sound will probably be on. I'm not thrilled for Joe Tessitore. But what is the line?
What do we have brewing in Auburn?
Dude, I used to love Joe Test, and he's just kind of grown. He's just kind of grown. Tired on me.
It's like he tries to do the Gus Johnson thing, but Gus Johnson is just so good at it, where everything is just high energy. And Joe Tessitore will just, 2-yard hitch route, and he's blowing a gasket. All right, so 6.5 is the number. Opened at 5.5. It jumped up to 7 at one point, settled in at 6.5. We all know the story. 3 wins on the plane since 99. Last one was in 2015. We were talking about it all week in the group text. This is not your granddad's Auburn. This is not your uncle's. This is not your nephew's. This is a very different Auburn program right now. It's year 1 of the Hugh Freeze era. They're not good offensively. They've got a few guys on defense that can play, but they don't have the wall-to-wall dudes that they normally have on that side of the ball. We're going to go around the horn here and give our thoughts. I'm inclined to lay the points. History be damned here. I just think that this Ole Miss team is a little different. They've got some leaders in that locker room that have stepped up, and I think that the defense and the run game will travel here, and it's going to be tough sledding for Auburn. So we'll go around the horn. Everybody kind of give their thoughts here, but I like Ole Miss's chances to move to 6-1. I'll leave it at that.
Who is going to play quarterback for Auburn this week?
I imagine that they're going to do the 2 quarterback thing, but if you made me guess who starts, I would probably say it'll be Robbie Ashford, because I'm sure Hugh Freeze is going to let him run around and try to create with his legs. But I mean, please inform me if I'm incorrect here. I think Ole Miss has actually done pretty well against running quarterbacks. I mean, Milroe got loose early, but Jaden Daniels is Jaden Daniels. He's doing it to everybody. But KJ Jefferson was mauled 2 weeks ago.
Well, and Milroe didn't beat us with his legs. True. Ultimately the offense lost us that game. It wasn't the defense doing it.
Yeah, defense was great that game.
Yeah.
But is Robbie Ashford just going to, run around for 200 yards? I don't think so. Because,
well, as we mentioned,
spoiler, their offensive line sucks too.
Yeah, and Thorne actually leads the team in rushing. So I don't know if if Freeze really wants to focus on the ground game, it may be better off running Thorne out there. I don't know.
Also, even if he does run around for 200 yards, how are they getting other yards? Like, okay, let's say he has such a great game and Ashford rushes for 180. Like, the offense is still not getting north of 300.
Yeah, they are just, they have no playmakers. I mean, Jarquez Hunter was really good a year ago. He's not really doing much. He's not giving them a lot.
No, and say what it is. They have an offense that only broke 100 yards passing last week because of it was garbage time. They had, I think, 74 at the end of 3 quarters passing yards, and they've like 6 straight FBS games. They haven't broken 100 yards passing. I mean, it's absurd stuff.
They broke it against LSU, didn't they? Or did you
they did in garbage time. Like they did, and they lost 48-18. I think they had like 160.
Yeah,
that was not at 100 after 3 quarters, which is, I mean, it's still really bad.
Okay, can you name their leading?
Go ahead.
Can you name their leading receiver?
No. Is it Hooks?
I can too.
JSU transfer.
It is not Hooks. He is third on the team. Jay Fair.
No
Jay Fair.
21 receptions, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns. After that, it is a tight end, and then it is Shane Hooks, who almost dropped.
Here's my okay. Let me get out in front of it. I think Ole Miss is going to cover. All right. I don't think Auburn's any good. If you want some cold water, okay, here's a little bit of a spin that you can make that maybe Auburn's not quite as bad. You know, this is coming from the guy who thinks that they're not any good. But if you want to take a skeptical eye at it, Auburn, yes, they've struggled offensively, but through how many games they played? 6. They played both A&M's and Georgia's defenses. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that could, I'm just saying, if we're trying to look at this in the light most favorable to Auburn, that could skew the stats a little bit. And because they played on the road at A&M, that's before A&M lost to Bama, they were still, riding high because, and A&M's objectively got a good defense. It's not the defense that's the issue there. And then they play Georgia at home in back-to-back weeks. What would concern me for Auburn is that they couldn't do anything against LSU. And all saw LSU's defensive part. I mean, that they are porous. They have 2 players and everybody else sucks on their defense, LSU. And Auburn scored 18 points. That's just, that dog doesn't hunt. I think Ole Miss covers. I'm just saying, maybe if we try to spin it for Auburn, maybe their stats are down because of who they played. I don't know.
No, I think this is an interesting point because A&M, again, really good front, and then goes without saying Georgia's really good on that side of the ball. But look, Auburn couldn't move the ball against Cal either. And I know Wilcox is a good defensive coach, but Cal doesn't have SEC personnel. And y'all watched a lot of that game as I did. Cal was a better team for most of that game without really fluky turnovers. And Cal's kicker missing like 4 field goals. Cal does win that game outright. So Ole Miss's front 7 is actually kind of good. I mean, we've done a pretty decent job of bottling up folks in the run game, including Alabama and Arkansas, who we thought would have a pretty potent run game this year. It turns out their offensive line is not great, but still, we got after KJ Jefferson, last game. I expect we'll do the same this week. I just don't look. I know Freeze is going to be deep in his bag of tricks. We will probably see a wide receiver screen pass, double reverse, annexation of Puerto Rico, whatever the fuck. But I just don't know how they consistently move the ball against us. I do think they have a pretty good defense, but I just think over time we're going to hit a big play. We're going to get a chunk play, and it's one of those situations where if a team like Auburn goes down 10, 13, 14, 17 points, they're not built to claw their way back into the game. So I can see it. Jordan Hare we've talked about this before. The home field advantage there is very real. It's one of the most intimidating environments in the SEC and in the country. I think their home crowd, emotion, freezes, Old Testament locker room speech prior to the game will keep them in it until, halftime. After the half, I think the more talented team takes over, wins the game. Gun to my head, I don't want anything to do with the line, but if I had to bet it, I think we cover. I'm with Ben. Earlier in the week, I was eyeing the total. It was at 56.5. It bumped up to 57 and even 57.5. I think this flies under that. Am I crazy?
No, I agree there. I just don't know how they score enough. I I think worst case for Ole Miss is it's a game like you're playing against an option team. You know what I'm saying? And those teams don't beat you by 35. Like the worst case scenario is you're not going to get whipped because they don't have the firepower to run off and leave you. There's not an athlete on Auburn's offense that you can look at and say, I mean, even Mississippi State has that player in like Tulu or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And so everybody's got that guy on their team. Arkansas has KJ Jefferson, whoever. Who does Auburn have that could you look at them, you're like, man, they're not very good, but they've got Debo Samuel. And so, you know what I'm saying?
Their only hope is to play. Their only hope is to play keep away and try to run the ball on us. But again, our front seven's been pretty feisty. I'm not saying they're dominant, but I don't think Auburn can string together drive after drive after drive of 8, 9, 10, 12 play drives resulting in touchdowns to just salt us away. I don't think that they have the personnel to do that. No, in years past they have, but this year I don't see it. The other thing I'll say, and this is hard to quantify, it's I hate to play armchair psychiatrist, but last week against LSU, that looked like a team that had quit. They looked lifeless, particularly in the second half. They looked like they didn't want to be there. I've never really seen, an SEC team. I'm trying to remember the last SEC team outside of Vandy in a primetime game against a division opponent that just looked checked out like that. And you know what came to mind? Ole Miss under Freeze.
Yeah, me too.
Late in 15 or whatever it was, 16, whatever, when Vandy whipped our ass, and then Mississippi State in Oxford ran up and down the field on us, and it looked like we didn't have a guy on the sideline who wanted to be there, including the head coach. So, I don't know. I think Auburn may have thrown in the towel. Now Freeze hasn't. Freeze will want this one. Freeze will want it. But again, we mentioned this prior to going on the pod.
Why do the players? Yeah.
Lane Kiffin's going to want this too, though. Like
he is.
The motivation doesn't just work one way. I mean, Kiffin, no doubt, has strong feelings about how their job search played out last year. His name getting leaked as whatever. Who knows what actually happened there? It doesn't even matter what actually happened. All I know is Kiffin is not at Auburn, and I think this week he will be absolutely motivated. And we've had 2 weeks to get ready for him. That's the other thing. 2 weeks to prepare for this Auburn offense. What are they going to do to put up points against us?
And we still have virtually everything in front of us. I mean, we could tell ourselves that at least. There's news that Brock Bowers is now injured, and or had surgery. Who knows if he's going to play? I hope he does. I mean, nobody ever, you know what I'm saying. But we have Auburn's 0-3 in the conference. Are they going to bootstrap this? What are we saying? Because
they're going to burn the ships. It's been my position on this
podcast. Yeah, it's been my position on this podcast since we started. I believe in teams that have things to play for. Auburn has run out of that. They are 3-3. Did players go play football at Auburn? Well, we can say this about Ole Miss now. In 2012, it was different, right? When Freeze started Ole Miss because they were 2 years off of not having played bowl games, the good recruiting class in 11. They had those good players like C.J. Johnson and Dante Moncrief in them. They were hungry for that. These guys at Auburn, they didn't go there to play in Birmingham in the BBVA Compass Bowl. Mm-hmm. They're and in the portal era, I just don't know how you keep teams together that start out 0-3. in the conference. I just don't know how you do it. Maybe I could be completely wrong. We could go out there and him have, like you said, been Moses and just like rallying the troops. I just don't see it though. And even if he did, he can coach Peyton Thorne as hard as he wants to. That doesn't mean the dude's a good passer.
Yeah,
Like
right.
he can't fix his arm.
Yeah, that's they just don't have the dudes. I mean, we talk all the time on this show about Jimmys and Joes, and which positions matter. Quarterback is my first box I'm checking. The quarterback, I mean, come on, it's Ole Miss. Check the box. Defense, I think it's Ole Miss. Offensive line, sure. Maybe it's barely Ole Miss, whatever. Running backs, Ole Miss has the better running back tandem. They have the better receivers. They have the better coach. They have the overall better team. Literally the only thing Auburn has is home field advantage and some kind of higher power that seems to always pop up at some point. Now, will that be enough? I don't think so. Sure. Maybe, as Austin said, they do a double reverse wide receiver pass and they hit it for a big gainer early in the game. Okay, cool. That's cute. Again, 2 weeks to prepare, 2 weeks for people to get healthy. Outside of Jordan Watkins, I mean, I think this is going to be the healthiest this offense has been all season. Caden Prieskorn's back in the building. He's practicing. Trey Harris is another week healthier. You have to think Zachary Franklin has got to be ready to suit up and do something. And, even without Jordan Watkins, I think the one thing that is not being talked about enough is how good Ulysses Bentley's been this season and the element that he brings to this offense and how different and more it's a more dynamic running team now. Last year,
so explosive.
last year he was hurt. He had the cast. He couldn't be at full capacity. It was just Quinshon Judkins were running right at you and try to stop it. Now they can bring him out there and, he can hit full speed in 4 steps and he's gone. I mean, he was running away from LSU defenders. I know this isn't an LSU defense that you typically expect, but they've got dudes over there that are capable of running, and he made them look like they were standing still. So I think this is a game where Ole Miss has got to get out there and start fast. I think you jump out 14-0, 17-0. Crowd's going to get a little quiet. Auburn players might start to, here we go again. I mean, it's human nature to think that. It's going to be inevitable for those thoughts to creep in. And again, we've all said it, and you just keep coming back to it. They just don't have the personnel, in my opinion. Like it would take Ole Miss to just lay a complete egg, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we go in like Dart and Quinshon and Bentley and Prieskorn all get hurt, then yeah. Like,
Well, and it's also like, or we have like 4 turnovers in the first half. Like the crazy stuff happens in college football. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Auburn beats us. That's not the case. But like if we play to just our baseline expectation that we've played with all year, I think we cover. I just do.
I do too.
I'm not sure if you guys saw this. I almost had a big game that day, but I want to point out, everything you said, I don't necessarily disagree with, but I do want to draw your attention back to a couple weeks ago. Auburn was playing a game at home, and they led with 16:09 left in the game. They led with 16:09 left in the game. The team they were facing was Georgia, the 2-time defending national champions, and you guys have basically said that we are playing. I mean, basically the YMCA this weekend. It's just like an old school scrimmage. It's like 1908 when Michigan used to play Detroit, like Hospital Association or whatever, and claim a national title. Is essentially what you guys said we're playing. This is an Auburn team that, and then those acts can be like, of course, Nick would stand for Auburn. I'm not. That's not what I'm getting at. The point is that at Auburn, we haven't had a ton of success. We have 3 or 4 wins over there. And we can point back to them. It took a bad Auburn team in 2015. It took a drop in the end zone in 2003. It took 20,000 Ole Miss fans booing their alma mater in 1999, that epic game, where we beat Tuberville. Like, it's just crazy games that we've got to win over there. And I think it's absurdist to think Ole Miss is just going to go into Auburn. This team's laid down. Auburn doesn't lay down at home. If they do, I hadn't seen it yet. I just think that the team you saw last week in Baton Rouge, it's going to be a whole different team than the team we're going to see at Auburn this week. It's something about, their fans over there. It's just weird things happen in Lee County, Alabama.
All right, let's talk about it then. Who for them is going to exploit Ole Miss on their offense?
Who for them did it against Georgia? I don't know, but they let them late, and they tied them in the fourth quarter.
Georgia turned it over inside their own 35 twice. That's how they scored.
Okay, but we could very easily do that.
All right, one touchdown drive against Georgia was 48 yards. The other one was 32. We could turn it over inside our own 30. That would put us behind the 8 ball. Guess what? Georgia still won.
Yeah, Georgia, a superior team to us, a team that would be on a neutral field, 10-point favorites.
Sure,
okay, but why is the Georgia sample instructive, but the Cal example is not?
Well, like I said, I mean, it's at home. I agree with what you're saying. The Cal game says more than the LSU game, absolutely. Even though it was further along, away ago, but I think it's at home. I think that's the difference is they were playing at Cal, and I'm sure you'll point to a game they didn't play great in Auburn. I just think it's a different team in Auburn. We go over there. It's something about going over there, and we just never give our best. And I think y'all are saying like the players for Auburn are not going to be as fired up as Freeze. That's probably right. I think there's a difference in like looking like you've quit because you're playing Jane Daniels and actually quitting because you don't care about your coach. And I don't necessarily think they're in the latter camp. I think it's easy to look like you quit when like you're playing against two probably top 15, wide receiver picks and, a very good quarterback, a guy that's the fourth in the Heisman odds at this point. I think it's easy to look like you quit when like a team's a lot better than you and you're on the road, but I don't necessarily think that it's going to be the same way at home.
Ole Miss beat that LSU team.
Ole Miss beat the LSU team, and on neutral field, it's like a pick 'em again tomorrow, though. You know what I mean? Like
and Auburn got beat by 30.
And that number was 11. Yeah, that spread was 11 too for LSU Auburn. So I mean, if you want to, do some comps, like
here's another thing. Okay, sure.
Nick, you're probably right. Like the line's 6.5 for a reason. If Ole Miss goes and wins 27-20, I'll be thrilled. I will. I'm just not. I'm a numbers guy. They got 200 yards against. Dude, they had 32 minutes of offense against Texas A&M and 200 total yards. Like they are so bad on offense. And I know we don't have Texas A&M's defense. I know, but like. Dang, that's bad. That's so bad.
And here's another thing. The Georgia game, and this just goes to show just how bad I think that staff is at Auburn. It's a tie ball game. Georgia goes 7 plays, 75 yards to win the game. 40 of those yards are to Brock Bowers when everybody in the damn building knows he's getting the football. He caught the ball and literally had time to turn around and go, oh shit, there's nobody around me, and then ran it in. Like that right there. I mean, that just shows how bad. Look, you can tell me, sure, Brock Bowers is really damn good. He's going to play in the NFL for a long time. But the fact that it's third in the game and he's getting the football and you can't even recognize that and say, hey, 19 right there, somebody jam him at the line. Somebody tackle him. Somebody drape yourself all over him so he can't catch the ball. I mean, to me, that's where, sure, they lost to Georgia by 7. But like the fact that you knew that was the guy getting the ball and you don't even come close to stopping him. And let's also
what concerns me if go ahead, Zach.
Well, I was going to say, keep in mind, I'm not so sure that Carson Beck is that much better than Jackson Dart. And also, this Georgia team let Vandy score 20 on them last week.
Is Carson Beck any better than Jackson Dart?
Yeah, I was going to say at this point in his
I don't
career, he's not.
I don't think he is. He's on
The
a
one thing
very
that
good
concerns me
team.
about the Georgia game that to Nick's point here is Auburn held them to 100 yards rushing. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. We're going to have to echo, I mean, or at least to support Nick here. I think we're going to beat them through the air.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know who their corners are. I know they have a really good Jalen Simpson's good. Okay. Just don't throw it his way.
I could be wrong. I mean, A&M ran for 200 on them. I just used to we could run on everybody, so it really didn't matter. We was saying used to like a year ago, and maybe we do again against Auburn this year. But I mean, that's not good. Them holding Georgia to 100 yards rushing.
Well,
that is a bad.
Okay, but also Georgia doesn't have those dudes in the backfield like they normally do.
They also don't have any weapons really out wide except for
They
their tight
don't.
end. Yeah. I mean, there's really no threat.
And I don't know how long we're into the podcast here. We haven't even discussed how Hugh Freeze said that they were having open competition for the right tackle position this week.
Yeah.
All right. Can we talk about that for a second? So, I'm so glad that we don't have coaches that talk like that anymore at press conferences.
Yeah.
That is so stupid. Like,
By the way, the open
competition, man. We're going to motivate these guys. Like Lane Kiffin would never do that mid-season. I mean, preseason, he gets it gets tiresome with the quarterback competitions. But like in week 7, we're barely even practicing, much less having like Oklahoma drills. Like I'm sure Freeze has got them doing on the plains.
Just, I know where Nick's coming from, and I don't really entirely disagree.
I respect his opinion too.
The scars are deep. It's been historically tough sledding for Ole Miss.
Well, yeah, I mean that's just a fact. I mean, what he said about our troubles there. That's if you're an Ole Miss fan and you've watched us play in Jordan-Hare, you know that it's a nightmare every time we're there. Even when we win, it takes years off your life.
I don't know. At some point it
Nick,
matters who the better team is.
Yeah, Ole Miss gonna win. I don't. Cover is. I could see Ole Miss winning by 7 and covering. So like if I could get 7, I think that I would say we wouldn't cover. But yeah, I could see like a 24-17. I think we're gonna win. I don't necessarily think we're gonna cover, and I think it's gonna be like early in the fourth quarter. Auburn's gonna have the football, and you're gonna be like, "Are we doing this again?" I just ultimately think they won't be able to score in the fourth quarter and win.
Definitely can see that. I could see that. But the problem is like they don't have a 2-minute offense because they can't complete a 4. They're still throwing it two-handed at all.
Right.
I just don't like. Yeah, I understand the demons, and I get that. And Jordan-Hare is a tough place to play. Full stop. Like that is a legit home field advantage. But I also I think Ole Miss can get there, come out, hit him in the mouth, score, get a stop, score, get a stop. Then what are they going to do? Like, how are they going to respond to that? And now, sure, that's best case scenario start, obviously. But give me 2 weeks of Pete Golding preparing for whatever the fuck Auburn's doing on offense any day of the week.
I mean, again, it's similar to playing like an option team in that if you can get on them, it's over. But if you get into a rock fight, it's the prediction that Nick has where it's like a fourth quarter game. I think Ole Miss wins it either way, but it's just how comfortable do you want to be in the fourth quarter? If Ole Miss comes out and jumps on Auburn, it will be over. But they just don't have the weapons they'll be trying to do things they can't do, and it's going to spiral out of control on them. But if they hang around, it'll be or they get up. Like that's one thing that's lost here too. is Auburn went up 10-0 on Georgia. And they just extended that thing all the way into almost the fourth quarter. But like I said, they'll have 200 yards of offense and have the ball for over 30 minutes. Freeze knows he doesn't have an offense. He'll run the clock out. That dude, we all know how that we've seen him coach. He wants to go fast. And so
and he can't.
He can't. He didn't have the players.
So
I'll tell you this.
He's going to try to muddy it up.
Tulane would win at Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
There's your prediction. I wonder what that line is on the neutral site.
I think Tulane's favored on the neutral site.
Yeah, I think
I do
Tulane's
too.
favored.
I do too.
What about Southern Miss?
Oh Lord, Auburn would dog walk Southern Miss.
Okay, Nick, here's what I could definitely see happening. I could see this being a knockdown, drag out, 94 throwback game. Ole Miss is up 17-10 late. They score, they go up 14, and then Thorne throws a pick six, something like that. Now, sure, take it. I mean, right now it's survive and advance. Just get a win. It doesn't matter. We're not doing the eye test and all that bullshit. Like, this is just win games at this point. And this is also like going back to where, Ole Miss is like, they've been really efficient defensively. They've gotten stops when they need it. The one glaring issue for Ole Miss has been third down defense. But like
historically and currently.
Yeah. But like also like, okay, sure, third down, like they got to get better on third downs. But like we keep coming back to this. Auburn doesn't have the dudes to make you pay. Like they don't have a Duke Williams or a Sammy Coates or, whoever, insert playmakers from Auburn that they've had over the years. Like they don't have a Tank Bigsby. It's not, I think that's, and again, not saying you're wrong, because like it could very well just get weird. But historically, Auburn has had better players at certain positions that were of great importance. And this year, I mean, I honestly think Ole Miss has the edge everywhere. And tell me if you've seen this movie before, when the head coach puts way too much stock in a game and makes way too big of a deal about the game for a long time, and then it bites you in the ass. Because guess what? Lane Kiffin's done that every year with Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and by the way, just breaking, well, I guess 20, 30 minutes ago, Wesley McGriff is stepping away for a personal matter, will not be coaching Saturday for Auburn.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Coach Crime, I hope everything's okay.
Hopefully it's not.
Yeah.
Hopefully nothing's actually bad or wrong. But we haven't talked about it yet. But again, very different roster. But Ron Roberts, last time he was the defensive coordinator against Ole Miss, was the Sugar Bowl when he was coaching at Baylor. But Ole Miss's quarterback gets hurt, spiraled from there. But that Baylor team had some NFL guys on it, and they were a Dave Aranda defense that had players.
And the other thing about that, you know who Ron Roberts coached at Delta State, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pete. I was sitting there thinking, Freeze been around a while. I'm sure Golding has, but have they coached against each other, Pete and Freeze?
I don't think there was overlap at Bama, was there?
Was he the 16 coordinator at Bama?
Good question.
I know that Kirby was at Georgia in 16, but was there somebody in between Kirby and
No, he was still at UTSA.
Who's the DC between them?
Efforting.
Was it Steele?
Second.
Yeah, maybe.
It was Jeremy Pruitt.
Oh, Pruitt. Yeah.
The man that doesn't know what asparagus is.
So I guess he's never coached against Freeze. Not that matters. I just, thought it was interesting. Freeze's stuff is not like It's not highly specialized and scientific.
No.
It's also
And
not new. It's also not new. Like
Correct.
in 2011 or whatever, 2012, the book wasn't out on freeze. And I'm not saying the book is the end all be all. I'm just saying like at this point, there's plenty of film about on Hugh Freeze's offense and his tendencies, what he prefers to do on down and distance. And I trust that Pete is well acquainted with all of that.
yeah, I keep coming back to they just don't have the players. Like they can't score. And they just don't have anybody that can just break a game open.
Yeah.
Like, they've had guys over the years that were track guys that, they could get behind the defense. And, I just, is Jay Fair going to do it? Is Rivaldo, Merriweather, whatever his name is, or Shane Hooks, or, are these the guys that are going to burn a
I'll
secondary
give
at
you
Ole
a.
Miss that
He
has been
plays
really
for Real
good?
Madrid, I think.
I'll take the LSU game out of it. I know that it's hard to do. Has Ole Miss given up a ton of big plays this year? There were a couple of long throws to Alabama. One of them was kind of a fluke. One of them was a great play, and there was one long play.
One of them was
against
incomplete.
Tulane.
Yeah, one of them wasn't even a catch against LSU.
Then one on against Tulane. Oh yeah, that Georgia Tech ball. That was
That was
incomplete.
incomplete. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Sorry.
I mean
Um,
LSU too. One of those touchdowns, like that.
yeah.
Yeah, should have
bobble
been a
catch,
touchdown.
yeah.
Anyway, I think we're all. Nick, what's your prediction? I didn't catch if you think we're going to cover. You said cover.
I'd say no cover.
Mm-hmm.
I think Auburn covers. I think we beat them by 6.
I'm 2-1 on the Plains. I'm going Saturday. Plan on making it 3-1, and I think we cover.
I did see our
So-
last win down there.
So were you, Ben, were you there all three of the last wins? Or
No,
excuse me.
I'm 2-1.
So you were there 03 and 15?
03, 15, and 21. Yep.
Okay.
I only make road trip. Well, that's not true. Sometimes I've gone when I'm just excited about the team, but I typically only go when I think we've got a chance at winning, which, as the listeners probably know, is probably 90% of the time. And I'm saying chance, not an expectation. But this time I expect them to win. I expect Ole Miss to win. Oh, we may not. I mean, it is. I've seen us lose plenty of games. I'll be fine. But
So last thing,
34 to 14 is what I'm thinking. Something like that. It's going to remind you of, and this they may have scored a little bit more, but think like Ole Miss, Texas 2013. Not the home game, the one in Austin.
Yeah. So last thing here before we get to the rest of the slate and get our locks in. Just kind of wrapping this all up with what everybody's kind of thrown in the fire here. I think one of the biggest storylines that I haven't really heard many people talk about, but y'all have all mentioned it in some form or fashion here. Freeze he has to, like, the inner turmoil in his brain, in his heart, in his belly has got to just be, it's got to be like 500 degrees because he wants to run tempo. He wants to go fast, but he simply cannot because Peyton Thorne has been erratic at best and Robbie Ashford is extremely limited with what he can do. So like, that's we know it from watching teams for the past decade go up tempo where it's great if you can go fast, but like you have to get plus
first downs.
yardage.
Yeah.
Like first down is a big down if you're a tempo team. And you get no gain or 1 yard or you throw an incomplete pass, then it's 2nd and 10. Like that's like we talk about it all the time, when you would go tempo with like Phil Longo and you throw 2 incomplete passes, well then it's 3rd and 10. So like great, you go fast, but you're going 3 and out. So like that's my thing that something's got to give there with Freeze where like, is he going to try to muddy this game up and take the air out of the ball? and try to use the home field advantage, or is he going to slam his head into a wall and try to make Robbie Ashford or Peyton Thorne go up tempo and just all of a sudden be good? So, round and round we go here. I think Ole Miss covers, like Ben said. I think it's like a somewhat of a close game where Auburn has life and they believe, and I think Ole Miss slams the door and punches one in late and, wins by 14, something like that.
They are a lesser team than what Tennessee had in 2021. The environment will not – that whole school hated Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
The environment will not be that, no matter what Auburn does.
That whole state hated Lane Kiffin.
Correct. And we rolled in there like half healthy, and
walking wounded at wide receiver and nobody. Yeah, yeah.
And I know we had Matt Corral to carry our sorry ass across the finish line, but we did. And so
but he did.
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead, Austin. I'm tired of the route. I don't know. I'm tired of that. That doesn't mean anything to me.
I was just going to comment on Zach's point about punching one in late. Kiffin has shown a tendency to sneak one in there that affects the number. So
guns playing to cover.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it's like 24-18, and we kick a field goal with as the clock expires.
He will.
I do think it's the combination of Quinshon Judkins and Ulysses Bentley is going to be a lot for them to handle. And I think Jackson Dart's going to have a good game because, again, I expect the big three from the portal to be on offense. And maybe this is the game where Zachary Franklin becomes the slant monster we all thought he'd be in this offense. And they're not going to have an answer. And again, I do think this is, kind of what last year was. You force people to load the box to stop the run. And then Dart has been so much better this year at taking care of the football and picking his spots and taking what the defense gives him. And, that's the key on the road is you win the turnover battle more times than not, you're going to win.
Agreed.
So
let's go to locks.
Before we do that, remind you the show is brought to you by Homefield Apparel. If you haven't done so already, go to homefieldapparel.com, go to the Ole Miss collection, get you some merch. If you're heading to the Plains, represent Ole Miss with some Homefield Apparel. Probably going to be chilly. I haven't checked the weather forecast, but nothing better than sitting under a hoodie than a super comfy Homefield shirt. They are incredibly comfy. They're soft. I love them. Nick's a big fan. Austin, Ben, you guys are in on the movement now. Go there, use promo code TOC23, get 15% off your first purchase, and you will not regret it. It is fantastic. I can't say enough good things about Homefield. They've been good to us. And hell, it might be cold enough to where you can bust out a quarter zip, you can bust out a hoodie. Maybe if you want to get real spunky, you get that bomber jacket and really flex on some people in Auburn. But homefieldapparel.com, use promo code TOC23 for 15% off. All right. Let's get into locks. I'm sure we'll tackle the slate as we run through these locks. We'll go by the rules here. We'll let everybody get in round robin style. Austin, alphabetical order, fire away.
All right, let's open with one I want to get out of the way, and I'm sure nobody else will want to touch later anyway. So give me Coastal Carolina laying 9.5 against Arkansas State. Arkansas State played their backup.
I can get you 10.5.
No way, it's going down. I'm staring at a 9.5.
I'm looking. Oh, let me refresh Vegas Insider. Hold on. My apologies. Okay,
no,
you're doing right. 9.5. My bad.
Yeah, we're doing like books you can actually fire on, not like aggregators.
Hey, this is Vegas Insider.
That's what I'm saying. You can't push the button on Vegas Insider though. They just aggregate like numbers. So Arkansas State's playing their, I don't know, backup quarterback, true freshman, had some success on the road early. Late has not looked good at all. Coastal, um, same thing. Early in the year, kind of stumbled out of the gate, but have come to life recently. Grayson McCall is still there, still playing really well. They figured some things out. They're actually just running their old offense now. Finally, and 9.5 is, I think that's ridiculous.
That should be
This
easy.
Yeah. This is a 14, 17, 21-point game. There's virtually no home field advantage in Arkansas State, so I'm not really concerned about that. No weather concerns. Grayson McCall's healthy. I think Coastal cruises. So lay the 9.5.
The Red Wolves are dreadful. Are you looking at cutting your health insurance premiums by as much as 20 to 30%? Are you aging into Medicare and need help finding a Medicare supplement plan? Call Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group at 601-953-8449. Drew is an Ole Miss grad located in Mississippi and licensed in 7 states. He works with the nation's second largest health insurance brokerage with access to 35 different carriers, and he can help you with any of your health insurance needs. From regular health plans to life insurance to dental and vision and even Medicare, he has it all covered. Now more than ever, it is critical to have a health insurance agent who is local and accessible. So call Drew Moak at 601-953-8449 and get your free quote today.
The College Corner is headed to Oxford. Stop by their new location in the Oxford Commons off Sisk Avenue. They'll have 4,000 square feet of Rebel gear ready for your trip to the Grove. On your next trip to Oxford, stop by the College Corner or our other great locations in Ridgeland and Flowood. Hats, shirts, polos, pullovers, sweats, t-shirts. College Corner has it all. And as always, you can visit us online at collegecornerstore.com. That's collegecornerstore.com. The College Corner, where your game day apparel meets.
Ole Miss football is happening. The Chris Beard era right around the corner. A retooled Ole Miss baseball, not long removed from its 2022 national championship, the first ever for the program, is ready for a rebound in 2024. Have you gotten your tickets? There are plenty available for all sports. Single game tickets for football available now, as are season tickets for basketball. And baseball season tickets go on sale starting in October. And you can also get tickets right now for the throwback game in the Tad Pad. They're still available, including VIP packages. But they're going fast, and you don't want to miss out. Don't miss any of your Rebels in action this season. Visit www.olemistix.com. That's www.olemistix.com. Or you can give them a call at 662-915-7159. That's 662-915-7159 for the Ole Miss Athletic Foundation, a proud sponsor of the flagship and the Talk of Champions podcast network.
Okay, so I've taken under in Iowa like half the weeks this year. I'm not touching it this week. It's okay. They're finally figuring it out. It's down to 31. Like
insane.
I just don't know that I can go under that. I'm sure Nick, is that what you want to do? Go ahead, take it, and I'll wait.
Yeah. Are you sure you don't want it?
I'm positive. Take it.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I want Iowa. I want the total.
You're going under 31?
And I'm going over 31.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's absurdist. I mean, that sounds crazy, but I just don't think the Minnesota defense is like really very good. I mean, if you look at their last few games, they've given up a lot of points, and this like matchup in the last few years is last year was 31, then 37, last year was 23, then 49, then 42, then 52. There's been some points in this matchup, and the Iowa offense is probably worse than most of those years, but I don't think it like got bad all of a sudden. It's been bad for a few years. Other than last year's 13-10 game, every other one of those games is over, and I think this line has gotten out of hand. I mean, 31.5 is a crazy number.
It's like a bit at this point.
Yeah, 21-10, which is a very low scoring game and would require maybe one defensive score by Iowa. 21-10 covers. Like that's a crazy number. If this was a number in the NFL, people would be like, I mean, is there a hurricane they're playing in? Yeah. So I'm taking it. I think there's been like 5 games total under 33, and I think it's 4-1 to the over. So yeah, it's too low of a number. I just want to have some fun.
Do y'all think PJ Fleck and oh my God, I just drew a blank on his name. Matt Campbell hang out in like the Sky Club at airports and like get hammered and just talk about how they missed their window?
Just lament. Yeah.
Just
Hey, isn't Matt Campbell like leading the Big 12 or second in it or something?
they're second in the Big
Technically.
12 right now.
Yeah, they're kind of weak though. Just to top off that, by the way, Minnesota last week gave up 52 points to Michigan. They gave up 24 points to Louisiana. They gave up 37 points to Northwestern. I just don't think their defense is very good. And maybe this is the movable object versus the stoppable force or whatever. But I could see Iowa breaking 20, 24 here.
Who is playing quarterback for Iowa?
Their backup, who's a bum.
Yeah, it's not
But
back to
Rocco, what's his name?
Wait, is it the
But
guy that's
also-
like? Is it the guy that's like 270 pounds?
yes, yeah, he's huge. Yeah, yep.
Deacon
Yeah.
Hill.
Deacon Hill. That's him.
Deacon. That's it.
What a name.
Man, that
Shit,
dude's
what an Iowa quarterback name, Deacon Hill.
dude. Once Freeze gets wind of this guy, he's gonna try to get him to transfers.
Y'all think Deacon Hill like eats cornbread and whole milk or like
Nope.
buttermilk?
Oh,
You know
my
why?
God. His milk's too spicy.
You know why? Because he's from Santa Barbara.
Oh,
No
wow.
way.
Well, there's very similar.
God,
Iowa City.
you talk
and
about
Santa Barbara.
a culture shock, man.
Yeah, he's from
God.
Santa Barbara, California. He went to Santa Barbara High School. God,
What a
Can you
culture
imagine?
shock.
could you imagine growing up in Santa Barbara and then going to Iowa City?
To go to Iowa
Deacon's
City to be the backup quarterback. What are you doing?
Yeah, Deacon's
Listed-
a pretty Santa Barbara name now that you mention it. Like that, yeah,
That's
that
true.
makes sense.
I can definitely see him like broing it out on a surfboard.
Yeah,
He's listed on Wikipedia at 6'3", 258. On the
Oh,
Iowa
he's bigger than
website,
that.
he's six. They
Absolute
have him
unit.
at 6'3", 258. Yeah, he looks like a dude that they just got off the street to come play.
But the next
I-
point, like there's probably gonna be a lot of short fields and turnovers and fumbles and all kind. And 31's not asking too much.
That's
So-
not asking anything. It's crazy.
I mean,
number.
yeah.
Have
So
you
don't-
seen Iowa scores though, man? I'd be nervous.
No,
Be
So
honest.
don't-
11
I
field
get
goals.
it.
11 field goals, and you're there.
So
I
don't.
will say this: if the over is if it's 30.5, and Zach, if you pull it up, give me the number because I'm not sure if it's 30, if it's 31 or 31.5. But every single game this year would have gone over 31, but for last
31
week's
and a
was-
half.
Yeah, okay, last
Yeah.
week's Wisconsin game was 15-6, and then they lost to Penn State 31-0. Every one of their other games has gone over comfortably. That's just a crazy number. I mean, they beat Purdue 20-14. Okay, easy cover if that happens.
Beat Michigan State 26-16. Easy cover.
Yeah. And again, look at Minnesota's scores, man. Their defense is porous.
I
don't
should
look-
take this opportunity to point out that last year the score in the
Yeah.
Iowa-Minnesota game was 13-10.
It was
Iowa.
13-10. It was a different game. It was in the Twin Cities.
And don't look now, but Deacon Hill has completed 23 passes in 3 weeks.
Jeez.
11 for 27 against Michigan State,
Lord.
6 for 21 against Purdue, and 6 for 14 last week for 37
He was
yards.
6 for 21, and they scored 24 points against Purdue.
20.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dude, we have spent so much time on Iowa. Like, oh my
6
God.
for 21 doesn't make sense.
It's so dumb. The crazy thing is like I watched highlights from their game last week, and like their defensive highlights are fun. Like they've got 2 bona fide like All-American candidates at corner. And by the way, one of them is
Cornerback
white.
you, dude.
Which
LSU can
is-
say what they want about DBU. Iowa's up there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
yeah.
Iowa's got some guard that's going to go like 4th overall, too.
The Titans will
Probably.
draft him, and then he'll be a bum.
Was
Yeah.
Wirfs from there? Tristan Wirfs?
Is he? Tristan.
Yeah, I thought so. Maybe not. Maybe not. Regardless, you know how they are.
All
All right,
right.
we can move on. Someone
Austin,
else
who
can-
did you pick first? What game?
Coastal.
We've talked on Iowa so long I forgot.
Yeah.
All right. Legitimately forgot. I couldn't remember for sure. All right. So game one, I used to do this a lot on the show, and I've not done it in a while. I am going to take a big favorite here, and I'm going to take the Michigan Wolverines and lay 24 points in East Lansing against Michigan State.
Yes, sir.
No analysis other than Michigan is rolling. They may be the best team in college football, legitimately
They are
the best team in college football.
This
And
line
Michigan
should be
State-
bigger. It should be 30.
Yes, it should. This is 31 and a half, 30 and a half. I agree. And Michigan State here you go, Nick. They gave up 26 to Iowa. So give me Michigan.
All right.
And you remember what happened last year in the tunnel, right? The fight and shit. Like,
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh does not strike me as the type of dude that forgets that stuff.
Yeah.
No.
The benefit of recording this on a Wednesday evening gives me the opportunity to take the James Madison University Dukes on the road against Marshall. I know they are, as our boy Tom Fernelli would say, they are a wagon. I know it's in Huntington, and we are Marshall. It can get a little weird there. The crowd will be hyped for an undefeated JMU team, but this is a Marshall team that gave up 48 to NC State, 35 to Old Dominion, and they beat Virginia Tech, but somehow let them score 17. And this was before they moved. I think it's before Kyron Drones, or no, he played in that game. But regardless, Marshall's not good. They're 4-2. This is JMU is legit. Like, it's ridiculous that they can't play in the postseason. They should be ranked, and it's egregious. And I think JMU marches in there and dominates, and 3.5 is not asking much.
I agree.
And
Marshall, I think, blew them out.
They've been good to me all year.
Yeah, they're rolling. And I think Marshall blew them out last year because JMU was on a backup quarterback. So again, this is another one of those angles where JMU is going to remember that. And they've been on a mission anyway. But
yeah, what was the
they're so
score of
good,
that
man.
one?
Their defensive line is nasty.
Oh, I'm telling you,
all of Uklu's buddies.
Yep.
Oh, man, can you imagine what they'd be like with him? Like,
serious,
dude. That's the best Group of 5 team, or whatever you want to call them, non-Power 5 team in the country, I think.
Yeah, they just destroy people at the line of scrimmage. I mean, you can't. Like, they dominate everybody in the trenches.
I would not want them to come play Ole Miss. I mean, I think we would beat them, but it would be painful.
No, there's anybody that schedules them right now is an idiot. Like, if somebody's like, hey, let's go play JMU.
Yeah, what are you doing? All right,
awesome.
All right, I'm going. I've stayed away from big games for most of the year, so I'm going to dip my toe in the water on this one. Probably will ultimately regret it, but nonetheless, give me the Nittany Lions against Ohio State, catching 4.5. I just think Penn State's got a top 3 defense in the country. Ohio State's got a really good defense too, but I think Penn State can control the line of scrimmage on that side of the ball, limit Ohio State's explosiveness. McCord's not been great downfield. They have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Egbuka, but they can't really get them the ball. And Ohio State's run game has not been overly impressive. I just think if James Franklin's ever going to do it, this is one of the years where, he may have the better team in the trenches on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive lines. QB may be a toss-up, but I think Penn State can play ball control. Their defense is good enough to keep them in it. This is probably going to be an old-school Big Ten slugfest, low-scoring, total of 46. So with a compressed total like that, I think points are valuable. They're at a premium. Giving me over the key numbers of 3 and 4, I got to take them. So give me Penn State plus 4.5.
I like it. And this is the first time in a while that I can remember that Ohio State has really struggled to run the football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They couldn't run it against Indiana.
Offensive line plays like down nationally.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's because all these dang
honestly.
kids are worried about 7-on-7.
I mean, there may be some truth in that, but I think you're right, Ben. I like Penn State's quarterback. I like their running. I like their
Yeah.
weapons, man. They
Drew
actually are
Alar
getting
is
some.
legit.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
good.
and they're getting some guys back at wide receiver this week too that have been missed a couple games. And Penn State's corners, they may have the best corners in the country. So I know Ohio State's got the best receivers, and typically I defer to the receivers in that matchup.
Is they
But I think they can
who's
limit Ohio
the
State downfield.
who's the corner they got that's his dad played in the NFL? What's his name?
Didn't he go to the
Did he-
league last
Did
year?
he leave?
Yeah, Joey
Porter.
Porter
Yeah.
Jr., right?
Is he gone?
I think.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, their defense, yeah. Even if he's not there, their defense is good.
Yeah, he's with the Steelers now.
Okay, sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah.
But also good news, I can get you 4.
You got to give me a hook on that.
Yeah,
You want it?
he's
Okay,
not like
okay.
he's getting points. Yeah.
Oh, that is correct.
Wait, didn't
Um,
Joey Porter play for the Steelers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And his son also?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
it's
We're getting into the point now
the
in the
simulation.
phase of my life where like
I know.
guys
man.
that I used to have on my fantasy team, their kids are now on my fantasy team.
Yeah, it's one thing for them to be in like high school in college, but like he's already in the pros. I mean, as soon as it's gonna be Joey Porter the third is gonna be a recruit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. All right, am
All
I
right,
up?
Ben
Yeah,
or
Nick.
Nick, whoever.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
All
That's
right.
fine.
I had actually, I'm gonna go with my second one because no one's gonna pick this last one. I don't want this next one to get gone because I had Michigan there. I really like that. I think the line should be like 30. I kind of think they're gonna just beat them mercilessly. I'm gonna go with Duke plus 16.5 here. I don't
Oh,
really know the reason that this line is so
Let's
big.
stop it. Stop it.
Yeah. Where's
I'm only
16?
seeing 14.5.
yeah, I was gonna stop you.
Oh, maybe
before
it
you
opened at
keep
16
going.
and a half.
Yeah.
That could
It's
have been what it
off.
was. Oh, yeah. It opened at 16 and a half, down to 14 and a half. That's my mistake. It's
No,
14 and a half.
do you still want them?
Do what?
Do you still want them at 14.5?
Yes. Yeah. No, I wrote 14
Okay.
and a half.
Okay.
I said
Just
16
making
and a half.
sure. All right. Yeah, cool.
I don't really care about Riley Leonard's status. I think their defense is good enough. I think that Florida State's a good football team that is still kind of flawed, and I just don't think that Duke's going to just come out and get drubbed. I think Mike Elko is too good of a coach to lose by 3 scores basically to Florida State. So 14 and a half, that's good. I saw Duke's defense the last couple weeks. They probably should have beaten Notre Dame, and we've seen what Notre Dame's done. I know they're up and down and stuff, but it just seems like a lot of points to a pretty good team. And I don't think that Florida State has. I think we're giving them a little too much credit because of the name on their jerseys. Have they earned the right to be like 2+ touchdown favorites over another really good team? I don't necessarily think yet. In the same way that Texas probably wouldn't have earned it either.
And it's a look
Man.
ahead spot because they got Wake Forest next week.
That's a good point.
Look, I may look ridiculous later. I think Duke can win this outright.
I do too. So like over 2 scores is kind of crazy. If it was 13 and a half, I'd still probably bet it. But I mean, like I could understand it a little bit more, but this is 2+ touchdowns.
And there's rumors that Leonard may be back. I don't know. I mean, the
Right.
ankle was pretty badly injured against Notre Dame.
He
But if he's back, how is this 2 TDs plus?
he was apparently not moving well last week on the sidelines.
And that's possible, but I don't know.
Maybe they shoot him
the
up.
defense
Maybe
gotta
they
keep
shoot him
in
up.
it.
Their defense and their coaching staff, man, they're the
Yeah.
best coaching staff in the country. Maybe.
Yeah, like really good coaching staffs don't get just blown out
Right.
often like that. I just they're gonna have a game plan to go out there, and if they have to slow the game down or whatever it is, I don't think Florida State's quite the team that's just like, oh my gosh, they've got 47 5-stars. You absolutely just can't compete with them. No, I don't think Duke's gonna. I mean, have they shown any indication that they can't compete with a team that's far more talented than them? No, I don't think they have.
I agree.
Is Jarrell
I
Stinson's
like the
brother
pick.
going to put the seatbelt on Keon Coleman?
It's a tough matchup, man. But Duke's played well in the secondary. They play well everywhere.
Wish he was at Ole Miss.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Elko's a good coach. Nick, if Ole Miss had Keon Coleman, would you lay the points this weekend against Auburn?
Oh my goodness! If we had Keon Coleman, we'd be unbeaten. Ultimately, is what it is. Because
you might be right.
Well, I say that he probably would have got injured too if he had
I was
come
going
to
to say
Ole
he would have
Miss.
pulled his hammy the first week.
I just don't. But I mean, we'd be unbeaten. We would have beaten Alabama. We'd have had too many weapons.
He would have drag raced on 7 with his new car. All right, Ben, you got one, or you need me to go?
Yeah, I do. All right. So
let's hear it.
I'm going to take another big favorite. I'm just asking to get hammered this week. I'm due an 0-3, like y'all said. All right. I'm going to go to New Orleans.
No.
And lay 20 with
You're on
the
the wrong
Tulane
side.
Green Wave.
You're on the wrong side. What is Tulane done to show they're going to beat North Texas by like 3 touchdowns?
Wait, what?
What is Tulane said that they're going to beat North Texas by 3 touchdowns?
Okay, so I don't know if you've noticed, but the only loss Tulane has this year is to Ole Miss.
Right.
And
they beat Memphis by 10, UAB by 12. The only team they've really beaten bad all year is Nicholls State, okay, FCS, and USM, who I'm not even sure that they have a football team anymore.
And Temple.
That's North Texas.
Yeah, and
sorry,
North
me.
Texas destroyed Temple.
My bad. My bad.
Wrong
I was
side.
looking at. I was trying to make a case for North Texas here. Oh yeah.
So
go on, Ben. I'm all
right.
ears.
I like Chandler Rogers. I mean, I think he's a nice player, but let me ask you this: if there's no reason for the line to be 20, why is it 20?
I have no idea. Tulane's defense is kind of mediocre.
I mean, what? Tulane is very good. I think they're the best team in the AAC. I think that they're going to win this game by 20 points. Here's the thing. They allow 79 yards rushing a game. Oh my God. Nick is a crazy person.
Again, they played USM, who literally doesn't have a football team, and Nicholls State in 2 of those 6 games. Excuse me.
FIU beat North Texas this year?
Yeah,
correct.
FIU won tonight, so I mean that's
God.
he's up
like
on my
McIntyre, baby.
Nick was going to pick North Texas. Look, the 3-3 Mean Green.
I don't have a third lock now because you've taken 2 of mine in a row. You're on the wrong side here. I cannot wait. I mean, I hate to say like, I can't wait to see you go 0-3. But I can't wait to see you go 2-1 and lose this game.
Oh man,
wrong side. You're gonna make me lock in Auburn, aren't you?
You gonna make Nick act up?
Oh my God!
Yeah, he's acting up right now. I know. All right, so this is I'm gonna lay 20 with Tulane.
Right.
Nick makes some compelling points, but this whole what makes you think? All right, like I don't even know how to interpret that. Give me the Memphis game was on the road, and I don't even think it was on a Saturday, was it? It's like during
it was a Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, it was a Friday. That's weird. Anyway, they still won by 10. Ole Miss can't even do that half the time. So give me Tulane.
It is Tulane's homecoming. I know this because I'm a Tulane season ticket holder, and this ticket actually fetched some money. We sold a ticket earlier in the year.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, so we could have good seats for the Ole Miss game. We sold a ticket to.
God, you are just the biggest fucking sicko.
I think it was UAB on 9:30, and we sold them and these tickets were like the 30-yard line. Sold them for $1.20 a piece.
Nice.
I don't know why they even have a gate. Just open the doors and let people come in for $1.20.
Like Kansas.
They ought to truly just do it like high school. Pay $10, you get in.
Oh boy,
seriously. Sit where you want.
I guess when we're rolling right now, 53-31 against the spread, you got extra coin to just buy season tickets at AAC schools
and sell them for
$1.20.
We were like, oh, we'll make some money.
What was the season ticket? Like $150? What was it?
It was literally $150 at like the 26-yard line.
Oh, that's not bad.
These like the homecoming game actually made some money, but yeah, we sort of took a bath on that one. Probably won't do that again.
Jesus.
Probably will not renew Tulane season tickets if you're wondering.
Speaking of taking a bath, my second lock, we're out of the tub. We have dried off. We've lathered up with moisturizer. We've combed the hair. We're going to L. We're going to LA, baby. Quote, everybody wants to be in these 12.5 shoes right here. So some opinion of sheep. Lions don't worry about that stuff. That would be the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Caleb Williams, after some Chad did a selfie
quote.
video with him. Look, y'all know I love me some Kyle Whittingham, and I love the Utes. They are captain of team put the paws on you, but this isn't at Rice Eccles, and Cam Rising's not coming through that door. Their offense is god awful. They might have a worse offense than Auburn.
It's bad. It's bad.
And I think
Cam Rising ever coming through that door?
I don't think he is.
No.
I don't think he is.
At this point, I think he might get a haircut before he plays.
There's no way.
This is a game that Lincoln Riley is going to just really try to pad some stats and try to get Caleb Williams back on that Heisman train, because I think the game last week might have just killed a back-to-back shot.
Yeah, he's up at like plus 3,500.
I mean, you talk about put the paws on you. Notre Dame put the paws on him last week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the line's only 7. Are you kidding me? I know Utah's got a good defense, but at some point they're going to score more than 7 points and win this game. I don't even think I know SC's defense sucks, but I mean, Utah's got to score. To me, this is in the Coliseum. This is a night game where Caleb Williams does his thing where he runs around and throws it to Zachariah Branch 12 times and they handle it. I mean, it's only 7. Like if this was 13, I wouldn't touch it, but it's only 7. So give me the Trojans at home to get back on the train and keep the Heisman hype for Caleb Williams rolling.
I kind of like it for the reasons you said. Utah can't score, and away from home, they've been pretty mediocre this year. They've skated by some pretty pedestrian offenses. They've not really played anybody like USC that can put up points in a hurry. So I like it. I do question, where's USC's head collectively? Like, are they checked out now that they're almost certainly out of the national title contention, probably out of Pac-12 title contention? Caleb's Heisman's gone. Like, where are they? But 7 against a team that can't score, it does feel a little light.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they're what? I mean, they're 6-1. Technically, they're still number 1 in the Pac-12 because they have 4 wins in the conference. So if they run the table,
but
I'm not saying they'll make the playoff.
Yeah, they haven't even played the meat of their schedule yet, though, right? Like,
no. But Utah's just not. They can't score.
No, they can't.
So,
and they're putting in backup like safeties at running back. I mean, it's crazy. They're trying everything on offense to try to get points on the board. So,
yeah. Again, away from home, fade them.
Yeah.
All right. Last round here. Let's get it popping.
All right, I got 2 questions because these 2 are very numbers dependent. So if the number's not there, I don't want either of these. But what can you give me in Washington, Arizona State? What's the number?
20,
I think it's 26 and a half. 27 and a half. Yeah.
Okay.
26 and a half.
Stay away. At over 27, and it was over 27 earlier in the week. It was 27 and a half and at 28 at some shops. I would have taken Arizona State. The Huskies back-to-back weeks going from, the high of beating Oregon to playing lowly Arizona State, 4 TDs plus, I think was asking a little too much out of them. So I would have been on the Sun Devils there, but I'm not going to take them under 4. All right. What about
a quick question. Is Jaden Rashada back or is he still out?
I don't know. I thought he might have been done for the year. Is he not?
Yeah, I thought he's done for the year. Like,
oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Never mind.
I just think, look, Penix is banged up. He's banged up.
That's a lot of points in a conference game.
If you got 28. Ton of points. And Arizona State can score a little bit. Penix is a little hurt. They just off their biggest game of the year. That's 4 touchdowns. That would have been crazy, but I'm not going to do it less than 4 TDs. All right. Another one that is very numbers dependent. What can you give me in Baton Rouge?
Cooler temperatures are right around the corner, and as I like to say, it's the perfect time to play a round of golf. And if you're looking for a premier golf course in Northwest Mississippi or the Memphis, Tennessee area, go to Cherokee Valley Golf Club in Olive Branch, 15 minutes from the Memphis International Airport. With those cooler temps, you might want to stay warm and comfortable on the course this fall. Go in the clubhouse and check out their new selection of outerwear from Travis Matthew and FootJoy, including FootJoy's new lightweight hoodie. This 18-hole par 72 course includes 4 sets of tees to accommodate all players and has 11 lakes, 52 bunkers, and the wide Zoysia fairways and extra-large Champion Bermuda greens and clean roughs make for an excellent opportunity every single time to post a number. If you need a premier golf experience in the Mid-South, go to Cherokee Valley Golf Club. Call them at 662-893-4444 or check them out, olivebranchgolf.com. This podcast also comes to you thanks to Bluff City Advisory Group, Memphis's leading team of finance professionals who can provide advanced assistance with financial planning, pension, and qualified plan support, and business and estate planning strategies as well. Former Ole Miss Rebel and founding partner Ben Still, along with his elite-level customer service team, make it their goal to help you meet the ongoing demands of your financial needs. Learn about this and more at bluffcityadvisory.com. I can get you, well, if you're wanting to cover, 31.5.
Give me the Black Knights of Army at 31. And
Yeah.
I just don't think there are going to be enough possessions here for LSU to run it up. I think if Army gives me 13, I'm good, right? Just give me 13.
That's
Control the
5
clock.
touchdowns they have to beat them by.
Yeah. And there's no incentive for them to run it up against Army. They got a bye week next week. Don't they just get in and get out 38-13, something like that?
It also may be sleepy after last. I mean, they did just drill Auburn at
And
home.
what don't they have Alabama on the horizon?
Yeah, bye week then Alabama.
They have
right?
a bye week. Bye week, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but still, same to your point. I mean, their next opponent is Bama. There's absolutely no reason to go crush the troops before your bye week. Like,
Brian Kelly strikes me as a guy who hates the troops, though.
Yeah, he could be. He's a guy who might kick a field goal late to beat the troops even worse. I could see that.
So
he's the guy that can relate more with the Taliban and the American military.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
shout out
31. Just play ball control, Army, limit possessions, kick 4 field goals. Hope LSU doesn't put up 40. I think we're good.
Yeah, 31.5. That's all we need.
Yep.
All right, Ben, Nick.
I'm gonna let Nick go first since
I'm gonna go ahead and take a big number here too. I feel like we've done it a lot, and what we're gonna, if you have a bad week, you look back and go like, we took 6 numbers over 20. What were we doing? Of course we were gonna lose, but as all the other games keep getting taken. Ben took the one of the worst picks of the year in his last pick with picking against the mean green. I am going to stay in that region of the country.
It is kind of lonely on the mountaintop up here, so maybe I can regress to the mean.
You're tied with me. Take it easy.
Oh man, something about
Nick ain't up there though.
Before falls. All right, so Texas goes on the road to Houston, and on the road is really just words at this point. They're going to have more fans there than the Cougars. Cougars coming off a really awesome win last week against West Virginia, where West Virginia basically threw a Hail Mary with 20 seconds left, and then Houston also threw a Hail Mary with 2 seconds left. It was a very interesting game. They won
bananas.
late. Yeah, it was a crazy game, but this is an absolute mismatch. I mean, the players on the field, we talk about how many guys does Houston have that Texas wanted and vice versa. This is one of those. These teams just happen to be in the same conference. Every single player on the field at Texas would play at Houston, and vice versa. Very few players at Houston would play at Texas. It's 23.5 on the road for a reason. I'm assuming Vegas gave Houston a point or two here. I mean, it's not but a couple hours away. They're probably sleeping in their own beds. They're going to have more fans, probably than Houston or similar numbers. And I mean, I think Texas defense is pretty good. I mean, obviously they gave up points against Oklahoma, who, by the way, is like unbeaten and ranked in the top 5. That's the only game this year where like Texas has struggled defensively. They didn't struggle at all against Alabama. I think they're going to come out here and just beat the brakes off of Houston, like 42-10. I just think they're going to, 23.5. It's under that key number of 24. Yeah. Give me the Longhorns.
I can get you 22.5.
Oh, nice.
I would love that.
All right.
What happened to Dana's offenses? Like, they didn't used to like win a ton, but they were at least fun to watch. They were kind of chaotic, up and down the field. They don't even do that anymore. Well,
I just when's the last time he had a good quarterback?
that's true.
Like that. I mean,
Yeah, but like
that seems like, well, obviously you need a quarterback, but yeah, I mean, he's normally had like good quarterbacks.
Well, I think he's had decent college quarterbacks. It's not like he's been putting guys in the NFL, but I mean, he had
No,
capable college quarterbacks. Yeah, I mean, it may be as simple as that, but like they're not even fun to watch anymore. They just suck.
People just watch to just see him like chew on the side of his mouth and
Yeah.
try to clean his gums.
They're also like really undisciplined. They get stupid penalties every game, turnovers. I mean, he's a dead man walking, right?
I think.
yeah,
So.
and if they had lost last week, he might have like already been dead.
Yeah.
All right, Ben.
So I'm torn between two games. Do y'all still have to go? I'm gonna let y'all go and see if y'all pick them, and then make my decision for me.
All right, I'm going to go back to the Pac-12, and it's very simple. Oregon did their jersey reveal, and yeah, lay them. They are wearing the throwbacks. Not even a question. I'm laying 18.5 against Wazoo. I was shocked last week at how bad they were. I could not believe it.
Yeah, like what happened? They were good 3 weeks ago.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It was like as soon as in our group text we started talking about Ben Arbuckle, the offense just went to hell. Yeah, apparently it seems that UCLA kind of has the book out now on Cam Ward, and if you can get pressure with 3 and spy him, he struggles. And last time I checked, Oregon has a really good defense and plenty of athletes to cover him in space. And they're going to want to get back out there and play and score and score and score after what happened last week and what I think is the game of the year so far.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oregon's better. And it's not on the Palouse. It's going to be at Autzen. So, and look, everything's still in front of them. They can win out, get a rematch against Washington in the Pac-12 title game and still make the playoffs. So, I think Dan Lanning's good enough coach to get them back in the saddle and get ready for this week. But yeah, something happened to Wazoo. I don't know what it is, but man, they have just fallen off. But yeah, I like the Ducks here, and then it doesn't hurt that they're wearing some of the best uniforms in college football.
I like it. Oregon's got far superior talent on both sides of the ball. They're going to come out on fire, like you said. I mean, that was a coin toss last week. Game of the year probably will end up being the game of the year. I just think Oregon's going to be extremely motivated with much more talent all over the field against a Washington State team that's just suddenly dog shit. I mean, Arizona beat them by 38 last week. Is that right?
Yeah, and
at Washington State. At Washington State.
On the
crazy.
Palouse too.
Yeah. I like it.
I mean, Noah Fafita lit them up. I mean, what do you think Bo Nix is going to do?
Yeah.
Am I the last one? Have y'all all got 3?
Yep.
All right. So I'll give y'all 2 games, the 2 games I'm considering. Number 1, under in the Ole Miss game. I think it's at 54.5. It may be 55.
You can get a 55, yeah.
And it's going to be mighty homer of me, but I got to do it. Or laying 6 in Fayetteville or Little Rock, Arkansas.
That was one that was right there. I was almost about to lock it up. Do it.
Yeah, let's do that. Look, unless Arkansas has quit, which they may, I mean, I wouldn't blame them at this point. given the run of games that they've had. But that's two different caliber football teams right now.
For sure.
State's got to get a new coach. In Arkansas, I mean, to have their record, they're not that bad.
They keep fighting for Pittman, man. They keep playing for him.
Yeah, and so playing up there, if I can, all they got to do is win by a touchdown against a Mississippi State team
I can
that
get you
really
5.5.
Whoa.
I mean, I'll take 5.5.
I love this pick.
I mean, I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know how this line is as close. I would probably take it up to 8.5. Again, the only issue is that Arkansas is not great on offense. But I mean, guys, State was a little bit of a dogfight with Western Michigan.
More than a little bit, yeah. Against Western Michigan's backup quarterback, by the way.
Yeah, Arkansas's got what? How old is KJ Jefferson? Like 35 now.
Yeah.
I don't. I see them covering this, even if they've quit. But you look at Arkansas' schedule. I think we talked about this in preseason. I'd have to go back and listen to our preseason show, but they've got some very winnable games coming up. To the point that they're 2-5. Hear me out, okay? They could win out and save Pittman's job at 7-5. I mean, they play State, Florida, Auburn at home, FIU, and Missouri at home. They can. I'm not saying they're going to, but they can win every single one of those games. Go 7-5 and back to Liberty Bowl, and they're not gonna. They won't fire Pittman at that point, or So that's still in front of them. I think they cover here.
Dude, Arkansas's defense too is pretty capable. Like they've got pieces over there that
They're
I didn't really
good.
know they
They're
had
good.
until they played us.
Yes,
Pretty solid
they're
at
physical.
end. Yeah, they are.
They've found something on offense with a couple of their receivers and tight ends. They put them at like H-back, and I don't think they're going to quit on Sam Pittman. I think they are big fans of his, and they're going to play hard for him. And it's at home, and KJ Jefferson's still under center, so I give him a shot because Will Rogers is out. So what's Mike Wright going to do?
If they were going to quit last week, they were down 21-0 to Bama.
Yeah.
Like that was the time to punch the ticket and just be like, fuck it. They didn't. Like they kept playing, fought their way, almost won the damn game.
They preseason, I think we may have even talked about this too. They just had a hellacious schedule, dude. Like now you can't lose to BYU at home, but they play at LSU, A&M neutral, at Ole Miss, at Alabama, at LSU, at Ole Miss, and at Alabama in the same season. That sucks, dude. And in 3 out of 4 weeks.
Brutal.
And they were all like one possession losses, right? Like,
yeah, and you throw A&M. Yeah, it's 3 points. So, all right. So 3, 15, 7, what's that, 22, 25 points. They've lost combined 4 games by 25 points in the last month. It's brutal, man.
Yeah, I love this pick.
You throw the A&M loss out there. They have 3 road losses in Baton Rouge, Oxford, and Alabama for a combined score of 13 points. That's not a bad football team.
No.
You got to win games, but they're close, man. Golly. And
but
now
like you said, Ben, how many teams in the country would have won games in that stretch? There aren't many.
No. We're talking about there are programs. Let's just say Oklahoma, for example. Okay, does Oklahoma go undefeated in that stretch? Do they go 2-1 in that stretch? Do they go 1-2 in that stretch? Like maybe. That's hard, man. That's just a hard deal. I'm talking about. I throw the A&M game out. You could include A&M in there though, because back then, again, that's before A&M quit. And I just tough for Arkansas, tough. And now they get a state team who they've played 2 decent Power 5 games this year. The South Carolina game, they played well in Columbia, and they played well, I mean, quote unquote, air quotes, well against Arizona at home. just because they got the win. But look at their SEC West scores. They got beat by 27 at home to LSU and 23 at home to Alabama.
Yeah.
Arkansas went on the road at LSU and lost by 3, and went on the road to Alabama and lost by 3. This is a sucker bet.
Yeah, I think they're still fighting for Pittman. I think they could roll State, man.
Yeah, I would be supremely shocked if State wins this game.
Yeah.
All right. There's 12 for you.
I'll tell you this. Do y'all think the State's going to fire Arnett?
Didn't like one of their beat writers come out this week and say no chance that he gets fired this year?
That is jail is what that is.
When has any of their beat writers ever been wrong?
Well, I mean, extremely reputable beat over there. So,
I mean, I don't know. I've always thought that he was like just the bridge to get them to the next coach, and they kind of hit the panic button.
I would try to get in the, I'd try to get in the cycle when nobody else is, or as few teams as possible. Like try to get Elko quickly. Not saying he take, you know what I mean, Elko or whoever.
They're trying. Apparently, the name out there is our boy Tom Herman.
Herman, that's another one. You know, somebody like there are a lot of Gus Malzahn is more capable than Arnett. No offense to him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
but I mean, why would you ever? I don't know. I don't get it.
Gus Malzahn win 8 games with Mike Wright quarterback.
This is what, and I know we got to get off, but this is what we've talked about. So State has nailed, other than maybe Kroom, which was what it was, they have literally nailed their last like 5 head coaching hires at football. The main one being Mullen, right? Like Sherrill was a great hire. He won big there. Like he capped out what they were capable of.
Sure,
Kroom came in to clean up the mess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do what?
So he won the West.
Yeah, he won the West. Played in Atlanta. Yeah, correct. And then Mullen obviously had a lot of sustained success. They don't like Moorhead, but he never really sucked. And so I don't know, man. This is wild.
And then Mike Leach.
Mike Leach. Yeah. And so compare that to us. You know what I'm saying? Like we go and hire Ed Orgeron. I mean, what? I just anyway. Houston we didn't know what he was going to be, but point being is they've been very good at fulfilling their potential, whereas we have not until now. Now we're seeing it with Kiffin. Mm-hmm. Like this is what we should have always been: is a team that has the capability. I'm not saying to compete for national championships every single year. Maybe one day down the road, but you can go 8-4 at Ole Miss. You can make that your floor. You just can. I believe that. But the SEC West is hard. I get it. But like you can make that your floor. I'm not saying make that your ceiling, but go 8, make that your baseline. If you catch lightning in the bottle, win 11 or 12, but try to win 9 or 10 every year. And that's a successful, especially. We should have been doing that while Vandy was our permanent opponent. From the East. Like, we did not take advantage of that like we should have. But anyway, it is what it is. But, you know, I guess I'm saying all that to say State's like this is like a wart on them that they just normally don't have. I don't know what they even thought when they did this, unless they were just scrambling and I guess, I don't know, like grieving their coach or they thought that this guy could be like a Dan Mullen type, except for defense. I don't know. Like just a coordinator who they give the head coach but he was just so young. I don't know. I'm rambling, but
it definitely
doesn't make sense.
Panic hire in retrospect.
It's a panic hire. And that's why I think like I'm of the opinion that you don't sit around and wait and be like, oh, well, let's give him some time. I mean, what are we? You either know or you don't very quickly. I mean,
I think he needs 10 years to figure things out there.
me too. It
And-
could be 25.
Yeah.
Lifer.
12 locks for you. Looks like 12 winners to me. We will reconvene next week. Stay locked in, omspirit.com. More coverage leading up to Ole Miss and Auburn on Saturday. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on the podcast. Also, the YouTube channel, OM Spirit. Subscribe, smash the like button, all that good stuff. And we will be back next week. So, for Austin, for Ben, for Nick, I'm Zach. This has been Hit That Line. We appreciate y'all tuning in each and every week. It's always fun. And I believe that Saturday night will be fun for Ole Miss as they try to get to 6-1 and 3-1 in the SEC. So until next week, we out of here.